Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'll just give a little time for people to realize that I'm live. I'm a little late this morning. School started and the bus didn't show up. So, thankfully I have neighbors who are willing to walk my children to school, but, the bus was supposed to show up at 8:30 and 7:30, and at 5 minutes to 8, it still wasn't here. So, I'm going to do a little something different this morning's chatter project. But as you come into the room, just say hello so that I can greet you and know that you were here. If you're catching this by the replay, do hashtag replay. But the chatter project, I'm going to start off with a little bit about the chatter project. I'm going to go a little more in depth with it because I feel the need to speak to my audience a little more. There are people who jump on and off, and that's fine. I'm not for everyone, and everyone doesn't want all things from me. That's something that I'm learning or understanding. I've always known it, but I'm understanding it now. But let me speak to my audience a little bit. The Chatter Project is an up-leveling of the conversation in government contracting. There's a plethora of individuals who will talk to you about writing proposals. And even then, I don't think those conversations are held correctly. There are a plethora of people that want to talk to you about low hanging fruit. However, they don't talk to you about the strategy that surrounds the low hanging fruit methodology. They make it seem like this fourth quarter, and because it's fourth quarter and there's money to be spent, that they're just going to spend it with you because you show up. And there's a lot more to it than just that. There's a plethora of people that will tell you about SAM registration and NACE codes, but there's more to the conversation than just that. There's so much more than what is being held, which is why I started this platform. The Contracting Chatter Project is designed to fill in the blanks for you. It's designed to bring you what's going on in legislation. It's designed to talk about strategy. It's designed to talk about, on a higher level, what the government is looking for in its contractors. It's designed to talk to you about compliance and regulations. There's not enough conversations around that. It's designed to talk to you about the expectations upon contractors. It's designed to give you that forward-facing look. The small businesses are expected and are held to a standard that you think you're exempt from because you're small. No, you're not exempt. You're still expected to adhere to the rules and regulations governing compliance. Being small does not absolve you from knowing the rules and regulations. I did it before and I will say it again. You need to respect your industry. Know the rules of engagement and govern yourself accordingly. Understanding that government contracting is just as much about strategy and relationships as it is about knowing how to talk the talk and put on makeup and the pretty suits. Government contracting is about knowing how to submit an invoice. I talked to a program manager, I talked to a contracting officer who expressed his frustration with the fact that he actually had a small business contractor that was working on a contract who kept submitting his bill wrong. And what was frustrating was he kept telling him what was wrong with the bill. And they just refused to just follow the instructions and fix what was wrong with the bill. But guess what? The government is not going to, nor are they responsible for, and neither should they, fix your bill. You should know how to submit a proper invoice to the government for payment. Everybody wants to get paid, but nobody wants to talk about what it takes to obtain a proper payment. Let's talk about that thing. Let's talk about how there are legislation coming out that affects the way the spend is going to be done. Let's talk about how the new appropriations coming out is going to open up opportunities. That's what the project is for, to help you wrap your mind around how to prepare for those opportunities. There's more to contracting than picking the right NAICS codes and knowing your customer and showing up to these industry events. And I'm gonna even go here. If you don't show up to the right events, you don't connect with the right people. And showing up to the right events and the understanding that there's still connecting events. You're not going to walk into these events and walk out with a contract. I don't know where that idea came from, but that's not how it works. You're going in to connect, and it's a knock on the door. It's still not a come in and have a seat. It's a knock on the door. That's what the project is designed to do. It's designed to get you in the door to a seat. Everybody wants to talk about having a seat at the table. I want to show you how to build the table and the chairs and say, come have a seat at my table. I'm talking about up leveling to that point. There's too much of a focus on what isn't right in contracting when we could be talking about what is right and how we can make an impact and a difference in the arena. But that starts with learning of the correct information, and then it ends with the application of the information once learned. That is what the Chatter Project is all about. I am Luciana Turner. I want to share with you my 17 years of government compliance information with you. I want to share with you how I saw in the back end and I heard and I sat in a room and witnessed the conversations. I want to share with you my experience dealing with the auditor, dealing with the government, knowing what the expectations are. Then I want to share with you my years of doing just what you're doing. I am a government contractor. I write proposals. I attend the pre-bid meetings. I sit in the rooms and I talk to contracting officers, just like you. I want to share my experiences putting together rates and negotiating the final rates. I want to bring my partners in so they can share their knowledge with you. But I can only do those things if you will allow me to. So that is what the Chatter Project is here for. The Chatter Project here to up-level that conversation in government contracting, to bring you the news and information and training that you need and want. That is what we're here for. Now, I put out a post last night where I asked you, what are your top 3 questions in government contracting? What are the 3 things that you just want to know that you don't know in contracting? And then I'm going to bring that to you, in addition to the other information that I have to share with you. So take some time out. Think about, what are 3 things in contracting you want to know? Send me a DM or send me an email. Both information is in my contact in the description. Allow me to be your source of information. Allow me to serve you in my highest capacity. Allow me to give you the information that I have so that you can build what you were looking to build in government contract. And with that, we're going to do a quick summary of the week, which is I attended a 2-day seminar discussing IT development modernization in the federal space. The seminar really focused on IT security and modernization. One, a few of the key takeaways was one, modernization efforts are really going to lean heavily upon more communication across government systems and a total overhaul in the government. Some of the government systems are very old, antiquated old, they belong in the Smithsonian old. So we're talking about a complete overhaul. We're going to zero trust, where they're not assuming that who's in the network belongs in the network. So there's going to be the zero trust initiative. So if you have access to the system and that access gets wiped out, they're not assuming that you belong in there. Another initiative that's going on is that subcontractors and contractors will be expected to secure their systems. What they're finding with the cyber attacks and malware attacks is they're not coming through the front door, they're coming in the back door, the basements, and everywhere else. They're trying to attack government systems through the contractors and subcontractors. They're worming their way in through that method and then sliding in through their unprotected and unpatched systems. There's going to be a streamlining of the contracting system, where if one agency has a need and another agency haven't, instead of them duplicating the contract, they may just tag along with an existing contract and make use of a contractor already performing work in the government space. There's increase talked about data analyzing and the need for data analysts. So if that is something you do, you're not necessarily looking for contracts, but you're looking for personal service agreements, or you're looking for just straight in hiring. You just want a job. That is going to be a big uptick in the government, especially with the Department of Homeland Security. So keep your eye out for those positions. Because quite frankly, as AI or artificial intelligence is implemented, data is going to be the key driver. Computers can only do so much. There will still be the human component. And I think that's the part that a lot of people are failing to realize. We can automate, we can as much as possible, but there's still the human eye needed to interpret the data. And there's going to be an uptick for the need of data analysis, data analytics. Then you're going to see an explosion in the need for that service within a government space. So if your organization offers that service, or if you're an individual that offers that service and you're opening to a personal service agreement with the government, I would say keep your eye out for opportunities with Homeland Security, with the Department of Intelligence Services or Department of Information Services. Those are going to be some of the key areas outside of Department of Defense. They're really going to be looking for those behavioral analysts, systems analysts, and informational analyst services. So the modernization of IT in the government is going to be a multi-year project. Currently, with the in March, Congress passed and approved a $1 trillion allocation. According to the seminar I was just in, government agencies submitted budget proposals which exceeded $2 trillion. that will span multiple years. Um, so it's going to be a huge, huge uptick. Considering all of these efforts, there's actually a push to approve an actual budget this year. The federal government has been working on continuing resolutions since the Obama presidency. So for the last 12 years, the government has been funded on continuing resolutions. There has been an increased push, and I actually see it happening, that there will be an actual official budget passed this year. So be on the eye for that being passed. What I do want to caution or prepare my small business owners for is the security implementation. I believe they said it was the CMMS or CMMI. I'm not a computer techie, and I apologize if I'm saying it incorrectly, and I do not have my notes open in front of me. I do apologize, and I will bring the correct information come Monday. Apparently, that process is a costly process to get that level of security implemented in your systems, and it seems to be a little timeliness with it. I would suggest any small business seeking to do business in the government, you find a way to if it's possible, partner with another small business to share the cost. I know there was a senator who was on the Ways and Means Committee who spoke, and they were actually talking about a way to make the charge direct chargeable to the project. I personally do not see that happening, only because a government accounting really talks about the government only wanting to, or the government project only bearing costs directly allowable to the project. Since the government, since that level of security is going to benefit every project that you have, making that cost direct billable to one project, I don't see it happening. However, it will be recoverable per indirect rates. So that is something you should secure somebody such as myself who can help you build it into your rates so that you can recover those costs that way. I see it being, there are several ways that you can recover it within your rates, but that is one of the ways you could do it. So I'm wrapping this up. We also want to keep in mind that each state is rolling out its own level of COVID-19 um, protections or requirement on its contractors. I really say talk to your contracting officer, see what is applicable to you. Most of these rules that are in place for contractors who have employees operating within government buildings. As we know, the federal government, as of this time, cannot mandate across the board. They can only mandate what happens within the federal offices. And currently, that mandate is everybody has to be vaccinated. And according to the presidential mandate, you as a contractor must be able to substantiate this. So that means you have to collect that information. State of Virginia have released some guidelines on that, and there's a few other states. Have a talk with your contracting officers to see what your requirements are. And then once you do that, have a conversation with your legal counsel, your HR representative or consultant, whatever the case may be. Lay out a plan and how you're going to handle that, and then roll it out to your staff and go from there. And with that, I'm going to wrap up and say have a great weekend. I will see you on Monday morning. The replays will be available on the LT&A Contractors Conversation YouTube channel. So any installment that you missed over the last 2 weeks, you can catch the replays there. And I will see you Monday morning. Have a great weekend. Be blessed and get some rest.